Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 1945, a chicken named Mike survived for 18 months without a head. He was decapitated by a farmer who wanted to eat him, but the axe missed his brain stem and jugular vein. The farmer decided to keep him alive by feeding him with an eyedropper and clearing his throat with a syringe. 2. In 1972, a plane carrying a rugby team from Uruguay crashed in the Andes Mountains. The survivors resorted to cannibalism to stay alive for 72 days until they were rescued. Their story inspired the book and film Alive. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In the 9th century, Pope Formosus was put on trial posthumously during a bizarre event known as the Cadaver Synod. His corpse was exhumed, dressed in papal robes, and subjected to a mock trial where it was found guilty. The body was then mutilated and thrown into the Tiber River. 2. In 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers stationed on the remote island of Eilean Moor in Scotland vanished without a trace. The circumstances surrounding their disappearance, including an unfinished logbook and a missing lifeboat, remain a mystery to this day. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 2006, a northern bottlenose whale swam up the River Thames in London, causing a frenzy. Despite rescue attempts, the whale died due to dehydration and organ failure. 2. In the early 20th century, elephant polo was a popular sport. Teams of elephants and riders would compete, with the elephants using their trunks to strike the ball. The sport declined over time, but occasionally resurfaces for novelty events. 3. In 1962, in a girls' boarding school in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, an outbreak of contagious laughter occurred. It spread throughout the school, affecting 95 students and causing the school to temporarily close. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 1520, Danish forces captured Stockholm, Sweden. King Christian II ordered the execution of around 80 nobles and prominent citizens, leading to a brutal massacre known as the Stockholm Bloodbath. 2. In the 12th century, 2 children with green skin were discovered near the village of Woolpit, England. They spoke an unknown language and eventually adapted to a normal skin color. The origin of these green children remains a mystery. 3. The Barbie doll's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts from Willows, Wisconsin. Her birthday is March 9th, 1959. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 1925, a territorial dispute between Greece and Bulgaria escalated into a full-blown war when a Greek soldier was killed during an argument over a stray dog. The conflict lasted for 10 days, resulting in numerous casualties. 2. The Voynich manuscript, dating back to the 15th century, is a perplexing text written in an unknown language. It is filled with intricate illustrations of unidentified plants, celestial charts, and mysterious diagrams. Despite centuries of study, its meaning and origins remain undeciphered. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. The sinking of the Vasa. In 1628, the Vasa, a Swedish warship, sank on its maiden voyage just minutes after setting sail due to design flaws. It was salvaged in 1961 and is now a museum in Stockholm. 2. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is an area in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where several aircraft and ships have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. 3. 3 presidents, all founding fathers, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Monroe, died on July 4th. Presidents Adams and Jefferson also died the same year, 1826. President Monroe died in 1831. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. The Tunguska event. In 1908, a massive explosion occurred near the Tunguska River in Siberia, flattening trees across 800 square miles. The cause is believed to be a meteor or comet explosion. 2. The reign of animals. Throughout history, there have been accounts of unusual rain showers, where animals such as fish, frogs, and even spiders fell from the sky during storms. 3. The Ghost Army of World War II. The United States created a ghost army during World War II, consisting of artists, actors, and engineers who used inflatable tanks and other deceptive tactics to mislead the enemy. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. The Rat King. A rare phenomenon called the Rat King has been documented throughout history, where a group of rats become entangled by their tails, forming a single bizarre entity. It is both a natural curiosity and a source of superstition. 2. The Dancing Mania. During the Middle Ages, outbreaks of mass dancing, known as dancing mania, occurred in Europe. Large groups of people would dance erratically for extended periods, sometimes resulting in injuries or deaths. 3. The Great Fire of London and the Bakery. The Great Fire of London in 1666, which destroyed much of the city, was said to have been sparked by a small flame in a bakery on Pudding Lane. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. June and Jennifer Gibbons, also known as the Silent Twins, developed their own secret language and refused to speak to anyone else. They committed crimes and were eventually diagnosed with a shared psychosis disorder. 2. The London Beer Flood. In 1814, a ruptured vat in a London brewery caused over 323,000 gallons of beer to flood the streets, resulting in several deaths due to drowning and alcohol poisoning. 3. In the late 19th century, there was a brief moral panic known as bicycle face. It was believed that excessive cycling could lead to a permanent disfigured facial expression. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1.
The Iron Pillar, located in Delhi, India, dates back to the 4th century AD and remains remarkably rust-free despite centuries of exposure to the elements.
2.
In 2001, red rain fell in Kerala, India, staining clothes and causing speculation about extraterrestrial origins. The red color was later attributed to airborne spores from algal blooms. 3. The massive stone statues, known as moai on Easter Island, Chile, continue to puzzle researchers regarding how they were transported and erected.
Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. The Great Stork Derby was a contest held from 1926 to 1936. Female residents of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, competed to produce the most babies in order to qualify for an unusual bequest in a will. 2. In 1910, Hawley Crippen was convicted of poisoning and dismembering his wife, Cora Henrietta Crippen. He was one of the first criminals to be captured with the aid of wireless telegraphy. 3. Between 1900 to 1908, Belle Gunness lured suitors to her Indiana farm, where she is suspected of murdering them and feeding them to her pigs to cash in on their insurance. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 1942, during World War II, a suspected enemy attack triggered a massive anti-aircraft artillery barrage over Los Angeles, California, known as the Battle of Los Angeles. No enemy aircraft were found, and the event remains shrouded in mystery. 2. The Japanese imperial throne, known as the Chrysanthemum Throne, is the oldest hereditary monarchy in the world, with a lineage that is said to span over 2,600 years. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. In 1692, a series of witch trials took place in Salem, Massachusetts. It resulted in the execution of 20 people accused of practicing witchcraft. 2. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, is a medieval manuscript that is believed to be the largest surviving illuminated manuscript in the world. It contains a unique portrait of the devil. 3. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, were a remarkable feat of engineering and a lush oasis. However, their exact location and existence are still debated among historians. Here are some weird and fascinating facts today. 1. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in 1914 triggered a chain of events that led to the outbreak of World War I, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the world. 2. The Aztecs created impressive floating gardens, known as chinampas, by constructing artificial islands on Lake Texcoco in present-day Mexico City. These floating gardens were used for agriculture. 3. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799, played a crucial role in deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. It contained inscriptions in 3 scripts: Ancient Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs.